Good morning. It is Sunday, March 15th, here in Washington, D.C. And it should be a bit of a blue sky day. It's about 43 degrees, which feels absolutely warm, given the weather recently. Good morning, Roberto. Good morning. Today's journey, we're going to take a walk down T Street, going from west to east. Then we'll come back down U Street and the historic U Street corridor here in Northwest Washington, D.C. But of course, along the way, there is so much to see. This is a walk we haven't done before. So this is a part of Washington because it's not near the businesses or the mall. That sometimes gets overlooked. But there are some great architectural examples here. Check this one out. I really like this one on the corner. I love the orangey brick and the green accents here. This is the corner of 17th Street and New Hampshire Avenue. So New Hampshire is one of those diagonal streets that connects some of the traffic circles in Washington, D.C. Particularly if we continued to walk this way, we would be at DuPont Circle, which is where I'm going to end my morning, my personal morning, not the stream, at the DuPont Circle Farmers Market. Unfortunately, every time I try to stream from that area, there is no signal in that area. But you can see the blue skies we have today. This area is full of early 1900s architecture, purpose-built apartment buildings for all the people who were working in our nation's capital. And because the city is designed on a grid system, plus the wheel and spoke, so you've got diagonal streets as well as east, west, and north-south streets, that creates these little triangles where the diagonals and the perpendicular streets meet, which creates triangles. And that means we have a lot of little parks, little triangle parks, all throughout Washington, D.C. And as you can see, spring has sprung. We got some daffodils. I don't know what these are. No idea what these pinky purpley flowers are. But I like them. Got the forsythia blooming over there. Some bright, brilliant yellow. Beautiful spring flowers framing this beautiful architecture. Now what you'll see is you'll see some Art Deco influence, some Art Nouveau influence, and a little bit of Gothic. Like when you look at the entrance of this building here, you know, those kind of arches, those kind of ecclesiastical looking arches there. A little bit of a Gothic influence. This one too. You know, a little more understated, but really, really elegant. Now that beautiful tree blooming there, that is not a cherry tree. It is almost Sakura time, but not quite yet. That's not a cherry tree. I don't know if it's a pear. Not sure what it is, but it is obviously beautiful. So we're getting a lot of yellows and pinks right now, combined with that blue sky. Just makes for a really great walk today. Hello, Kailash. Nice to see you. Hi, Warthog. Great to see you. So yeah, Sakura time. It's almost here. I recommend everybody do it once. But once you do it once, you realize why you might never want to do it again. It's just so many people down there at the Cherry Blossom Festival, or at the Cherry Blossoms. But here we can get a little bit of a closer look at that entranceway here. This is the Windermere Harrogate Apartments, with that awning Like I said, I don't know if we call it Gothic. It's kind of a slightly Gothic look to that one. Now, across New Hampshire Avenue, you can see the row houses combined in the same neighborhoods with these big apartment buildings, most of which built in the early 1900s. Wow, what a beautiful sight that is. The sun bouncing off that building. Yeah, we're getting beautiful golden hour sun right now. This is T Street. So the streets in Washington, D.C. that go east, run east to west, those are, for the most part, letters. And the streets that go north to south are numbers. Allentown, Washington, D.C. Hi, Anthony. Nice to see you. Washington, D.C. We've got some renovation going on here on this row of townhomes. Oh, and I see a natural gas lamp. How nice is that? You can see on this one, number 1618, just under the house number, that medallion that identifies this property as part of a conservation easement here in Washington, D.C. And this one has a gas lamp, and it has stained glass windows in the transom. Love that. And right next to it, bright yellow. You'll find throughout Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, for the most part, a real pride in our historic buildings, but also a little bit of flair. I don't mind painted brick at all, as long as they're not all the same color. How much they cost? Oh, once complete, it begins in the million. It begins at $1 million and above, for sure. Yeah, this is walking distance to metro stations, or, you know, you could walk your way all the way to downtown DC if you wanted to. So this is prime real estate. Now, I see a historic marker here. This says it's the Todd Duncan residence. Internationally renowned baritone Todd Duncan lived here from 1935 until about 1960. Duncan originated the role of Porgy in George Gershwin's Porgy and Bess. Wow, that's really cool. Lots and lots of African American history in this area. The U Street corridor has a plethora of historic buildings, businesses, all associated with and important to African American history and culture. Now check this one out. Another purpose-built apartment building here. This is 16th Street, a really busy corridor here in Washington, D.C. But check this one out with the kind of that keystone motif above the door and close to the roof line. Kind of indicative of an Art Deco influence. And then you can see some of the townhomes here. Look at the variety of styles. Look, we have a federal style here on the corner. I would venture to guess 18-ish, 1860s, 1870s on that one. I could be completely wrong. And look at the care taken to make sure this one stays up. It looks like its next door neighbor was probably torn down. But look at the different style next to it. You know, kind of striking, going from federal style to this beautiful townhome with that fan above the window on the second floor. Hi, good morning. And then next to it, the gabled roof. And next to it, kind of a mission style with that terracotta roof and the stucco front. This is such a variety in architecture. There's one more next to it. Look at that holly tree. It's a huge holly tree. Allie Reza, nice to see you. Hey, Brad, how are you? And look at this one. This is so narrow. A narrow little townhome, but this stucco with the terracotta in that mission style. Oh, I'm going to come back and research this block because, you know, I've mentioned many times, you know, how Washington, D.C. has a variety of townhome styles. This is truly unique. Going from the 1800s federal style to this beautiful green one, right? To this one, and then to have mission style architecture on the same block. It's kind of one of those awesome things about Washington, D.C. architecture. This little narrow puppy here is so cute. And then we go from 3- and 4-story homes to 5-story massive townhomes here, probably multi-tenant. These two were probably built together. And then look, next door to it, back to something that was probably, I don't know, this looks like a modified federal style to me. This one looks interesting. I love this entranceway. Check this out. Hi, Kalish. Hey, Tim. Nice to see you. Mission style. Typical of Southwest America. So using the terracotta, which was, you know, the materials that were prevalent in the southwest of the United States and Mexico, the terracotta roofs, and then that stucco finish is typical of Mexico and southwest United States. But look at this entranceway on this one, framed by these trees. That really gives it a stately look for being in the middle of a city. And this one here, much wider. This is an oddball style. Now you can tell if you look above the windows, look at the lintels above the windows, first and second floor. You can see that those bay windows were a later addition because they have a rectangular lintel above the windows, and then the bay window just kind of doesn't fit. Yeah. Tim, I hope you're having a good morning wherever you are. It is glorious here in Washington, D.C. We are on 16th Street. Now, I didn't plan to go down this street, but these houses caught my attention, and I will come back for deep research on this beautiful block. Check out the ironwork. I don't know if our friend Late Art is here. She likes a good ironwork like I do. Hello, Swapnil. This is Washington, D.C. in the United States. And we're just checking out some beautiful historic architecture framed by these beautiful blue skies today. But I will come back and research this block. The architecture is incredibly interesting on this block. Now let's get back to our walk on T Street. But before I leave 16th Street, just a word about 16th Street. I've done a walk up and down most of 16th Street. So if we were to continue straight down this way, you can see the Washington Monument peeking out over there. And if you look really hard, you can see the White House all the way at the end of the street. So if I were to continue walking this way, all the way down, excuse me, to Pennsylvania Avenue, I would be at the White House. This is 16th Street, and the White House's address is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Along the way, I would pass historic hotels. I would pass the Embassy of Australia, which I absolutely adore, and I've done a video on the Embassy of Australia. We'd pass I think the Hay Adams and several other historic hotels on the way to the White House, and a few other embassies as well. If I were to continue this way, on the right, we would eventually be at Meridian Park. On the left, we'd be at the Embassy of Poland, Cuba, Lithuania, and a few others that I'm probably forgetting. So 16th Street is a fantastic walk. You can go 2 miles in either direction and have a lot to look at. Brad says 16th Street, Washington, D.C. Zillow at Kayla's will be blown away at what those prices are. I know, right? I know. Okay. You know, if I put this on my dream list, that one with that entrance, I'm guessing starting at 4 million. I'm guessing starting at 4 million. All right, let's get back on the planned walk today. That's what happens when you encounter beautiful architecture. And I hear a woodpecker. Listen. That is a woodpecker. But yeah, I'll come back maybe in a week or two. Maybe we'll do the whole of 16th Street from White House up to Meridian Park. Now, here's something awesome that's happening as part of America 250 this year. There is an amazing fountain at Meridian Park. It has been dry for years, probably my entire lifetime. That fountain has not had water. It's fallen into disrepair. It is still amazing architecture. But as part of America 250, that fountain will be restored. And I encourage anyone to look up Meridian Park, Washington, D.C., to see what that fountain will look like when the National Park Service restores it. And I will plan, boy, if there's an opening celebration for that fountain, I will be there. Yes, it's also Malcolm X Park. Absolutely. It is also known as Malcolm X Park, 100%. And the fountains are magnificent. So we're looking forward to that. Now check this one out on the corner. Obviously, corner units would be prized and would have been prestige locations both today and back in the day. But that's no townhouse. That's a mansion here on the corner of T and 16th Street. Just look at all the features and the multiple porches on this residence. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, that was a detour, but that was a detour well worth it. I will come back and do some research on this beautiful block here. Let's continue on T Street. Brad's gonna be doing Zillow all day long. Yeah, this one, so this is the southeast corner of 16th and T Street, Brad. I look forward to hearing what this is all, what this would go for. I'm gonna say it's gonna start with a 6. I'm gonna say this one's gonna start with a 6. Now this block, you can tell, was probably built all around the same time. So this is where, and it may not be the correct architectural term, right? This is where I say these are row houses and the others are townhouses, but I could be completely wrong. There is not variety. These are all the same, but they're all painted differently, right? We've got what one might call painted ladies across the street. The same style, but all painted in a variety of colors. And across the street, we have different styles. So across the street, we have the rounded bay windows, kind of intermixed with the square. And here, we have consistently that square rectangular facade in front of these homes. This is T Street. Now we're on T Street, walking east from 16th Street. I think it's great if you spend time in Baltimore, Washington, Philadelphia. At first glance, they look very similar. The homes, the steps, the sidewalks, right? The layout of the streets. But the more time you spend, the more you see characteristic differences. This area with these tall, narrow townhomes, I don't find those other places. And here we have the mix of painted brick. Look at that one, that coral color, and blues and greens and beige. And then this one natural brick. This is a beautiful block. So do the majority of people walk and commute without cars here? I would say that people who come here to study, so we're really close to Georgetown Law School, which is not in Georgetown, it's over here. Howard University, those who have internships, they usually don't have cars, right? Because they're not local. People who are local and those with families definitely have cars. And I will say, for me personally, I never have a problem parking here. I think folks worry, and when they come visit Washington, D.C., they jump into a garage and they get charged way too much in garages. So just follow the signs. You get a sign. It tells you exactly when and where you can park and for how long. Paying for street parking is, for me, always better than parking in a garage. How much do these go for? Oh, it's millions. It's millions, GK. Yeah, you don't need a car in DC. I agree. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets. If I think this is beautiful, I should check out Old Louisville. Scott, I would love to get everywhere. And what I really appreciate is a variety of architecture. So yeah, I would love to check out Old Louisville. I've been to the Louisville Slugger, outside the Louisville Slugger factory, just passing through. Some parts of DC, you also get a beautiful front garden. There's some front, whoa, sorry about that. Wow. Good morning, sunshine. Some parts of DC, you do get a beautiful front garden. And we do have some roses blooming already. Wow. Spring is taking hold here. I thought it would be a week or two before we'd get some rose blooms. Good morning, beautiful Daphne. How are you? I remind me of Evelyn that does, I will have to check out Evelyn, the famous Evelyn. Oh my gosh, I wish I brought my other camera with me on this walk. But that just means I'll have to come back. I will have to come back. Let's keep going. We have a lot more to see today. I really hope everyone is having a fabulous, fabulous day. Daphne Glitters, my mod here. Check out her channel. If you enjoy chill, inspiring ideas for crafting and decorating your home, check out Daphne's channel, please. I'm always inspired by her creations. Now here in different parts of Washington, D.C., around the crosswalks, you'll see different art in different communities. And up near west of here, like a few blocks up, it's all these Art Deco motifs in the crosswalks. Near the Swan House, that's what I was trying to think of, near the Swan House. But it's a good reminder to look up and look down wherever you are. Now this one's for sale. Pipple, this one's for sale, or Brad, this one's for sale. We are now at the corner of T Street and 15th Street. The numbers are going down as we go east until we get to North Capitol Street, and then they'll go back up again. I do this one. This is a corner unit though. That'll be extra expensive. So now you can see the modern architecture springing up north of this area. Hey, we've got a call box. Oh, sadly, it looks like, let's see. Well, there's a little bit of graffiti going on there. Awesome. So this one says DuPont Circle, Art on Call, Historic Call Box 253. And this one has information about the police call boxes and the neighborhood. Well, that's really cool. This is not one I've seen before. So you'll see in many of my videos around Washington, D.C., we find these historic call boxes that have been restored, both police and fire call boxes. And in different neighborhoods, they're different colors. And some of them have art. Some of them have just historic information about the area. And some of them are empty. And I want to know where the art went. Got to do my research. I'm going to do a published video on the call boxes. How long have I been doing this and how often? Although it says my channel started like 2013 or something, that's literally just when I started a YouTube regular account. I've been doing these walks for a little over 1 year. So I think my first live stream was it December or January? It was either December 2024 or January 25. So just over a year. And depending on the weather, sometimes I'll do one evening in Washington after work, and I'll do 1 or 2 on the weekends. Yeah, I try to get out early in the morning when there's beautiful sun. Hi, Joe. Nice to see you. Joe Drew, this is Washington, D.C. Now check these out. We've gone from the massive 5-story townhomes to these beautiful 2-story row homes that have these amazing front yards. And everyone in this neighborhood has put furniture out in their front yard. This has a outdoor living room feel to it here. Look how nice. Some artwork and beautiful landscaping in these small spaces, but you can do so much with these small spaces. Now this one purpose-built as apartment buildings. Going back, I'm gonna guess this one also to early 1900s. Any plans on jogging? So typically, although not today, typically what I do is I will do my route before live streaming. I'll do a run. When I'm streaming from like a national park or a trail, I'll do my run and then I'll come back and live stream it. So I try to scout out the location, before I do the live stream. Or I do the walk with my good 35mm camera and take photos. I'm not doing either of those today. I slept in today. So I did sleep in. So I didn't do my run today. But this will be a long walk. Now check that one out as well. So we've got this tall purpose-built apartment, probably dating to about 1920s. We've got this narrow building in between. And then we've got this one. My educated guess is that this building, the dark brick, and this building, the light brick, both existed before this one was built in between. It's got that in-between feel. Hey, mostly dolls and helicopters. Great to see you. Look what a beautiful day we have. Look how beautiful. Blue skies, some nice white puffy clouds, and some beautiful architecture to look at. Now, I have no idea. It's like an orange bush of some sort. Look at that. No idea what that is. Spring is definitely springing up. Look at this one, the green. We're seeing daffodils. We're seeing the pear trees are blooming. We're getting ready for cherry blossom time, which is awesome around here. We're on T Street. We're walking from 15th Street to 14th Street in Northwest Washington, D.C. This little one in between, this is a former United States Post Office building, as you can see. And I'm good because there's no traffic here. This used to be a post office. Charred Burger is coming to this location next to a purpose-built apartment in this beautiful residential area of Northwest Washington, D.C. Is there less crime since they surged the agents? You know, I'm not a political channel. I'm not talking like politics, but statistically, I feel good. I feel safe. But, you know, I've lived and worked in and around DC my entire life. And I think there's something to like knowing your surroundings. I've never felt unsafe here. I feel safer now for sure. But I'm also really aware of my surroundings. I know where I'm going. I know every crack in every sidewalk in this city. So, you know, I've always encouraged people to come visit. Now this is 14th Street, as you can see, a hugely commercial artery here in Northwest Washington. 2 blocks down when we were on 16th Street, 16th Street is double wide. 14th Street is also double wide. So this historically had many businesses on this street, and it still does, versus the more residential streets. And you can see today it is a busy, busy artery in this historic part of Washington, D.C. Lots and lots of businesses here. And we'll take a really good, oh, great restaurants, by the way. Super restaurants in this area. And as we go up to U Street, we'll also see that U Street, which is an east-west street, also has lots of businesses and restaurants and cool places to be. We're really, we are, I'd still say walking distance. This is still walking distance, depending on how you define a walk, from the main attractions in Washington, D.C., which would be straight down this street. So if you continue down 14th Street, you hit Thomas Circle, I think, and Vermont Avenue. Hey, Digger. Good morning, Digger. Hi, Angela. Very nice to see you. Yeah, I think when you know your surroundings, it helps you to feel safe. All right, we're gonna go a few more blocks to the east, and then we're gonna cut up to U Street and come back west. A little bit of art on the utility boxes here. If we were doing Main Street bingo, it's not a main street, but this area we would get that mural square for sure, because this area has murals everywhere. Now we're back to some, now when I say 5-story, I also mean like the basement level or the ground level, which is usually kind of like a split level entry. So we're back to the 4- and 5-story townhomes here. And now we're back into the 1800s in this area, and especially on this side of the street. You'll notice that it would be uncharacteristic to have the same style on both sides of the street. Almost every street has at least some variety from the north to south or east or west sides of the street. And this one has these 2-story homes, maybe with a basement, maybe. And over here we have these 4- and or 5-story if we count attics. across the way. And several of the homes with the medallion indicating an historic easement or historic designation. Look at this. I like that cream color with the black. And this open porch on the front. The other reason I don't run through Washington, D.C. or Baltimore or Philly is because of the streets and the sidewalks. I would go flying. You can see just ahead. It's wonderful that cities maintain their green and have trees, but you can see what the trees do to the sidewalk. The roots pop up the brick or the concrete in the sidewalks. So running in a city, even walking in a city, for me, that's the most dangerous part of walking in the city is the potholes and the sidewalks. Now check this one out. You've got 3 4-story buildings here. This one rectangular, kind of stark. Next to it, this blue one with that accented roof. And then next to it, the natural brick that looks different. Really lends variety. And who knows? I don't know if it was planned that way. Look at these. There's crenellation on the top of these turret-looking roofs. Got a castle-looking design there. Who knows if that was planned? I like to think it was. Check out the cast iron or wrought iron stairs here. Late art likes the wrought iron stairs. Oh my God, look how gorgeous that is. It's also very quiet. Again, we're not too far from, the hustle and bustle areas, but these residential streets tend to be quiet except for cars with loud exhausts. Now here's a newer construction in between the historic buildings, but you can tell they took some care to try to fit it in to the architectural aesthetic of the neighborhood. Ooh, that sun. Sorry about that. Within Washington, D.C., there are many, many neighborhoods, and many of them have these historic trail signs, and you can learn your history as you're walking around. Sometimes I like to walk without a plan and without a camera, just experience the history and the architecture, and use these to guide. So the elegant Whitlaw Hotel at the corner of 13th and T Street. Okay, so that would have been this one here, the elegant Whitlaw Hotel. Opened its doors in 1919, offering African American travelers their first opportunity to stay in a first-class hotel in the segregated nation's capital. Inside the lobby, they found fine rugs, potted palms, a richly decorated dining room, comfortable rooms, and convenient shops on the first floor. That's really cool. Right here at the historic Whitlaw Hotel. Now look at this. I mean, that's picture postcard perfect. That shot right there. Look at that. Now that's painted brick. That's not natural, but it's painted red with the dark gray charcoal accents around the windows. Beautiful green lawn. That is lovely. We are now walking north on 13th Street. We're departing T Street. And what do you think the next street is? It's U Street. Hey, Axel, nice to meet you. Hello, Hugh. Hugh, I bet it was 100%. Let's take a closer look at some of the accents around the windows on this one. Again, another corner property. So more than a townhome, right? This is a mini mansion here. Here on this corner. Yeah, it would have been in the Green Book for sure. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the film with Viggo Mortensen. Now another row of these more rectangular row homes. 4 stories across the street, 3 stories on this side. I think it's kind of neat that you really rarely find the same styles on opposite sides of the street. Check out this one. That beautiful staircase. Now, you can see this one pattern. You can see the scrolling flowers or vines with that star in the middle on each of the risers. And look, it's the same here. So that must have been a really popular pattern. I like these two. I know it's hard because I'm shooting into the sun, but the dark blue next to the slate blue. So the dark blue has the dark blue and the beige, and the slate blue has the slate blue and the darker navy blue. I like that. And right next door, sort of a greenish taupe and white, and then that bright white and black next to it. So quiet this morning. And it's after 9 o'clock. Hey, Trade Ladder for 146. Very nice to meet you. Oh, I was very lucky to be in the UK last year. And I have to go back. Every time I go somewhere, it only makes me want to go back. There's not enough time to go every place twice, right? Or 3 times or 4 times. Let's see if I can cross over. Yes, I do not recommend jaywalking, but when it's completely safe. And I'll walk quickly. All right, so we've walked north on 13th Street to the historic U Street. And you can see it's U Street, and this block is Ben's Chili Bowl Way. We're gonna check out Ben's Chili Bowl. As I mentioned, you can always way in Washington, D.C. These signs point you in the right direction. Now, when I mentioned earlier about murals, for me, this is mural central for Washington, D.C. It really is. You can see another one of these historic U Street Heritage Trail markers. And we are at the U Street station. So this is U Street and the African American Civil War Memorial and Cardozo. Used to just be U Street Cardozo for short. For those who haven't seen them before, this is what a Washington, D.C. metro station looks like. Wow. it certainly is not like the beautiful underground stations in the UK or the beautiful metro stations in Paris. And that's because the Washington, D.C. Metro was built in the 1970s. It's still being built. The Silver Line, the Purple Line. And so the Metro grew up, or got dug down, into existing buildings. And so they don't have these beautiful facades. They don't have beautiful stations. They typically just have these awnings. And that sign I showed earlier, it is disappointing. It is disappointing for a major metropolitan city and a world capital. But you don't come here for the metro station. You come here, this area, for the murals and for the history. And this one, Chicha, since 1997. The promenade. Oh, by the way, this is also the street. I meant to say this. This is also the street. If you want to see neon signs in Washington, D.C., this is where you come for neon in Washington, D.C. Hello, Pad Thai from Thailand. Hello, Natbug. Nice to see you. Martin, hello. I'm so sorry if I miss anyone. I do apologize. I try to look at chat, but I have to look at this. You know, the sidewalk, you don't want to see me fall. Well, you might want to see me fall. Somebody might want to see me fall. So I really, really apologize if I'm missing you in chat. Those people are lucky they have a residential neighborhood so close to shopping. Yeah, absolutely. And there is so much to see going in multiple directions. So I did want to say there are neon signs here in this part of Washington, D.C. We'll see some historic ones and we'll see some new ones. Now this, it says Ben's Chili Bowl, but the historic Ben's Chili Bowl is across the street. And we'll come back and take a look at it. We'll go to the Civil War Memorial and then we'll turn back around. But this is the temporary Ben's Chili Bowl. And this is a bear. It's a bear painted with, well, there's the Chinatown Arch, which is nowhere near here. Ben's Chili Bowl, no idea. It's a bear. It's a bear. But we will head down to the memorial and then we'll come back down U Street. This is U Street in Washington, D.C. And yeah, whoever asked earlier, it's really weather dependent. If we have 3 or 4 straight days of beautiful sunny skies, I will be out when I'm not working. Okay, there must be something going on at the theater because I'm seeing all these little kids, parents taking little kids down the street. So we'll get a good look at the theater. But I want to take a good look at the Civil War Memorial and then come back down and we'll check out all of the historic architecture and some neon signs to be on the lookout for, as well as some murals. The street numbers are going down. This is 11th Street. We are now walking distance to Howard University. It's a big bus. We have those big articulated buses. Yeah, U Street is going to have so much more traffic. It's a double wide street. It's a main artery. All right, we are here at 10th Street. And another metro station. Oh, a metro station perhaps getting a facelift. Okay, let's check out the sign. All right, and let's not get that QR code in the picture. We've got U Street covered, a phase 4 canopy installation. Okay, so it's just gonna look like every other metro with a canopy. Woohoo. It's the one thing I'm most critical about. It really is. And here's another marker for this metro station. The U Street African American Civil War Memorial Cardozo Station. That's actually a good picture. Is it cold? It's about 40, I'm gonna say 44. It was 42 when I got out of my car, maybe 45. If the sun would stay out consistently, I think it would be warmer. And there is a breeze, and I apologize if that's messing with the audio. Yeah, you can see folks are still wearing the wintry jackets today. I have gloves on today. Now within this building, the African American Civil War Museum with the statue of Abraham Lincoln in front. It's in part of the building. The other part of the building says it's available for lease. And this is the former Grimke School. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Grimke. The former Grimke School now houses, or part of it houses, the African American Civil War Museum. And here we are at the memorial. This memorial, like so many in Washington, D.C., maintained by our National Park Service. And lots of information here about the service of African American men to help secure their own freedom during the American Civil War. This neighborhood, also known as the Shaw neighborhood or close to the Shaw neighborhood, named after Robert Gould Shaw. If you've seen If you've seen the movie Glory, you'll know all about him. This is the memorial. Now, I like this memorial a lot because, particularly, this very last sculpture here, all the way on the right, which includes the Navy. It could just be me, but I feel like the service of those in the Navy during the Civil War is sometimes overlooked because we talk about so much of the history in the land battles, right? But those who served in the Navy during the Civil War should also get their due. So the words, I don't know if you can read them, Civil War to Civil Rights and Beyond. This memorial is dedicated to those who served in the African American units of the Union Army in the Civil War. The 209,445 names inscribed on these walls commemorate those fighters of freedom. Should say fighters for freedom. Okay? It's not fighters of freedom. That sort of sounds like against. Fighters for freedom, maybe? But this is quite a beautiful memorial here on the corner of 10th and U Streets in Northwest Washington, D.C. Yes, go Navy. Yes, go Navy. I'm a Navy brat, Navy girl. My dad served in the Navy. My granddad served in the Navy. This is really, really hard to see. But what you can see maybe, if I get really close, are some of the names inscribed. 209,445 names inscribed on this memorial. By unit, those who served in the Civil War. One other criticism, small criticism of this memorial, is the carving in the stone. If that were highlighted with like a gold leaf, it would be awesome. But it says here, who would be free themselves must strike the blow. Better even die free than to live slaves. And that was Frederick Douglass. But it's incredibly hard to see even here in person. Is this museum in danger with the Trump administration? I don't know. And I had a little bit of conversation on this with some others with respect to pulling funding for public television. And while public TV, definitely serves to, they're the ones that showed The Civil War by Ken Burns, right? Amazing programming. But here's also another thought, again, a very neutral, non-political thought. If we put it in the hands of the people to vote with their dollars, then you're going to get a more accurate result, right? Anyone can claim they want X, Y, and Z until you ask them to open up their pocketbook for it. Whether that's any controversial matter, right? All the controversial matters that have dominated our politics. I'm a historian, I stay out of politics, but I'm not certain that what's being shared about, quote, defunding really is. I think sometimes we need to tighten our belts. And if I were asked what I wanted to fund, as best I could, I would try to open my wallet and fund national parks and museums. And then I'd make choices not to fund some things that are not as truly important. A lot of people like to open their mouths and talk about all kinds of causes just to get attention. And then if they were asked, and I'm talking about wealthy people, I'm not talking about people who can't afford, I'm talking about really wealthy people who open their mouths all the time, but when asked to open their wallets, they won't do it. So that tells you what they really value. That's just me, not a political statement. It's really an economic statement. Yeah, the American flag, again, I think it's amazing that we're a very green city, but in this case, the trees are hiding the flag from 3 angles. So make the flagpole taller, right? That comes in conversation as well. Washington is one of the reasons I mentioned how quiet it is here is because of a couple of things. Washington has height restrictions on buildings, which is awesome. Washington has big, wide streets, like the one you see before you here, 10th Street. And Washington has a lot of green space. Good morning! And all of those 3 combined make for a really quiet city. But when the trees are in the way of the historic vistas and views, I don't want anyone to cut down trees. I just want, raise the flagpole up if you can't see the flag. That's a really nice view too. I like the metro signs. I hate the stations, I like the signs. I think they're very clean, iconic. You see the M for metro and you see that green band under the M. That tells you that the green line is the line that you access from this station. And you'll go to a station like L'Enfant Plaza and there'll be multiple bands because L'Enfant Plaza, Gallery Place, those are hubs. So you'll see all the different colors that you can access. Hi, INTMD346, great to see you. Good morning from Northern Virginia, heading to work. Keep up the good work, thank you. So pansies, they've been going since the winter. Even though we had our little blizzard time here, these are the same pansies that were buried under the snow. So they're still thriving, but now we're getting the daffodils, and in my garden, the daylilies are starting to pop up. So this is not my official springtime DC walk. I think next weekend, if the weather permits, that will be my official springtime walk, where we'll hit all of the gardens around the National Mall. But we're getting some hints here. So we've just left the African American Civil War Memorial. I think it's beautiful. I really do. And this building here that we caught a glimpse of, I'm sorry, I should have looked up a little more when we were at the memorial. You can see some of the Masonic iconography at the top. This building was completed in 1922, but this, what do we call it? Order of the Masonic this lodge was established in 1825, but the building was 1922. We are headed back, heading west now on U Street. And we'll get a really good look at an area that was always a commercial hub, and historically a commercial hub for the African American community in Washington, D.C. And when I said we would see murals, we're gonna see lots of murals in this area. So this one is to commemorate Lee's Flower Shop, not fellowship, Lee's Flower Shop, founded by Winifred Lee and William P. Lee. So Lee's Flower Shop was here. It's quite awesome. Hello, Ethel Little. It's great to see you. So Daphne, tell us in chat, what are your plans? Any streaming today? Any videos popping today? Daphne's been streaming. It's peep season. It's not Easter season. It is definitely peeps season. And Daphne's been streaming the peeps crafting. Peeps decor. I love it. I love it. Now here, just off of this really busy commercial street, still residential homes right off the street. But I want to take a minute, if traffic will allow me, to hone in on this little corner bank. Now, it's not that iconic stone and brass door bank that I tend to love. Those ones that go back to the early 1900s or late 1800s. But this one's built in the I'm going to guess 20s or 30s-ish. I could be wrong. But what I love about this bank, I love all banks, is that neon sign. How often do we see a neon sign on a historic bank building? Not very often. Let's get a better view. Industrial Bank. And that clock is about a minute fast, but okay. We'll give it points for the clock being correct. This street at nighttime is brilliant with neon. This is the area of Washington, D.C. where you will see neon signs. You can also see on the Bohemian Cavern across the street, that's a neon sign on the roof. So that's a little characteristic staple of this neighborhood. I wish I could walk down the street in this neighborhood. I can't. Too much traffic. Ethel, tell us where you're from. We're a super friendly chat here. And we encourage criticism of architecture. Hey, if I like something and you don't like it, I want to hear about it. All opinions are allowed here. I like stucco, some hate stucco. We've had some good conversations on that. Now check this one out. Look at that work around the roofline on this one. Big industrial building. Not industrial, big commercial building here. Going back in the day. Typically when I'm wandering, today was definitely a wander, I'll do the research after. Some days I plan a walk around a particular block, and then I will pre-research a block when I'm recording sort of a history of a block. Today is just a wander. Now we'll get a little, no on stucco, Tim, that's perfectly fine. That's a fine opinion, although you're wrong. It depends on how well it's kept up. Stucco requires maintenance, right? And stucco, I think for me, is good when it's mixed with other styles in the area. So you see across the way, you see the Lincoln Theater, the historic Lincoln Theater. I've seen a couple of stand-up performances there. I saw Eddie Izzard here a long time ago. And then next to it, we'll get closer, next to it on the right, the historic location of Ben's Chili Bowl. And Ben's next door, which is the larger restaurant. Made really famous by President Obama, who liked to come to Ben's Chili Bowl for chili and chili dogs. I've been there once. I had a chili dog. Just being honest. It's just a chili dog. I don't know what the big deal was. This one says it's the Reformer building. Okay, this one we saw here. But let's get a good look. So it looks like Ben's is undergoing some renovation, and so they've moved temporarily the carryout here. But what is quite cool, those are like 1950s vinyl chairs, right? And the old-fashioned, I don't know what you call that, Formica table. That's pretty cool. You know, it does have that 50s vibe. The original Ben's Chili Bowl is here. It has that, like, I don't know, theater arcade type facade. I like that. The sign says our original location is closed for much needed building repairs. And then the sit down restaurant next door. And the historic Lincoln Theater here. So I'm gonna guess, I wonder if this is church. It says Sundays at 9:30 and 11:30. Yep. It says it's the Passion City Church? Passion City, okay, let me climb over here. Passion City Church. Yeah, that's what it says. So that's what's going on here. It's church. Everybody looks happy going into church, but another neon sign that says Lincoln. And just look at that awning. The beautiful carved work above the entrance in this historic building. Continuing west on U Street. The clouds are coming in now. I want this blue skies back. On this northwest corner, the Ellington, another neon sign. Oh, thank you, Axel. And sometimes, oh, and this is great, sometimes on these historic walking tour signs, you get the old photos So check it out. So there's a photo looking this way, Lincoln Theater, and down there to where Howard is now. So what are those lights? There's a stadium there. Here in the shadow of the renowned Howard University, neighbors responded, I want to know what this, do you see those stadium lights? I don't know what that was. We'll have to check that out. And there's the entire trail. You can make a day. There's one here. There's one around Logan Circle. There's one in Tenley Town. There are historic walking trails. There's Penn Quarter. There are historic walking trails. You can pick one of many. There's also a historic trail. You can't do this one. What's that? Yes, Bloomingdale. That's a great, I love those townhouses there. Thank you. Yep, the Bloomingdale area too. Thank you. I love when people just chat with me instead of looking at me like I'm crazy. There's another trail that you can't walk to, but all around Washington, D.C., prior to the Civil War, defenses were built, forts were built all around the nation's capital. I don't know how many miles ring the Capitol. 20? I don't know how many miles, but there are several historic sites where those forts were and where some of those forts still are, and you can visit all of the forts. Fort Reno Park, which was formerly Fort Pennsylvania in Tenley Town, is the highest point in Washington, D.C. There's a marker in the ground that tells you that, and that location is maintained by the National Park Service. So you can visit there's so many different trails you can take. If you're like me and you want to have a completist journey, pick a trail. Yeah, maybe it was for baseball back in the day. I don't know where the old Senators Field was, but that looked like a substantial stadium of some sort. By the way, following current sports events in Washington, D.C., the old RFK Stadium, that monstrosity is gone. That disgusting, horrible, rusted out hull of a building has finally been taken down. Why am I so angry? Why do I care? It's because one of the main roads into Washington, D.C. is East Capitol Street and in or out of D.C. And there's something to be said for making sure that the vistas, when you're entering a beautiful place like our nation's capital, making sure that they are welcoming beautiful vistas. And this one was marred and scarred by this rusted out monstrosity, literally a building falling down. Not a little building, but a stadium falling down. So, yeah, it's gone. Now this little brick building here, it says Hamilton on it. And if you walk by too quickly, you might miss the symbol at the top near the roof. That's a printing press. It's a little mosaic. See if I can, it's hard, there's a tree. But there's a mosaic of a printing press there. So perhaps a printing press. That's a chick on a roof. Talk about peeps, Daphne. Daphne, this is a peep. This is the Lucky Pollo Peruvian chicken shop with a chicken on the roof. And next to it, another mural on the wall. That's a funny peep. More murals here. So neon signs and murals all throughout. Just right here on the U Street corridor. I don't know if you can see it. There's a building in the distance. I'm trying to get it square in the center of the frame. It's currently a storage facility. It says extra space. But there's a ghost sign there that says Fidelity Storage Safe Deposit Vaults. Probably really hard to see, and if I get closer, yeah, it's going to be obscured. Ghost signs everywhere. This is a DC government building here. Here on 14th Street. This is where there are restaurants up and down 14th Street. There's another mural. Check that out. That's a saxophone playing mailman. We'll have to figure out what he's all about. I do too, Digger. I do too. I have so many ideas for videos and historic projects, and there's just not enough time. There's just not enough time in the day, week, month, year, or life to do all of them. I would love to document all the ghost signs before they're gone. I would love to photograph every architectural style in these cities. Not enough time in the day, but at least through these little walks, I hope I'm snapshotting time. Not to presume to be a historian of importance by any means, but maybe in 100 years, someone will find my little videos and say, oh, that's what it looked like at that time, right? And maybe it'll help someone else's research by finding what I have found. Oh, I know. I'm hungry too. Well, that's why I'm heading to the DuPont Circle Farmers Market when I'm done with this walk. So I'm going to get my breakfast at the farmers market. I wish I could stream there. I have tried so many times, probably 4 times I've tried to stream from DuPont Circle, and it's impossible. There's no signal. It is a black hole for cell service in Washington, D.C. Now we're continuing to walk. Oh, I should have crossed the street. Gosh darn it. We're continuing to walk west on U Street. Let's see if I can get across here. Oh, I'm lucky. Because I want, while I'm still in the shade, to capture this building. There's a name on this building. It says it's the Marden Building. And there's the remnants of another ghost sign, which it's pretty impossible to see. Whoa, there's a bus coming. Okay. Big bus coming. But here's a good spot. So this says it's the Marden Building. I like buildings with the names of them carved into the building. But above it, you can see the remnants of a ghost sign. I can't even read it. Can't even read what it is. Daryl! Nice to see you. But you can see, check out that block of those. Those are red painted brick. That's not natural brick on those townhomes there. Now next to the Marden Building is this beautiful little building. No idea what this was in the day. It's a bank today. Don't think it was a bank back in the day, but as soon as the traffic dies down just a smidge, we're gonna get a really good look at an historic bank. My faves. I love my banks. Now this one is not still being used as a bank, as you can see. It's boarded up and fenced off, and I don't see any signs of what this might be used for in the future. But still, it survives. Hi, Jamie Boyd. Nice to see Jamie Boyd. Sorry, Jamie Boyd. Nice to see you. And you see this entrance here to the M.A. Winter Building, which is beyond this little entrance port. But looking back, yeah, this one has seen its better days. This is rough. No indication whatsoever what bank this was. There's no carving above the door. I think there were letters. Sometimes you can get the little rusty dribble that will outline the letters, but there's nothing here to indicate that. Okay, traffic. Cut me some slack. Okay. And now, let me get over here. Okay, back on safe sidewalk. Back on safe sidewalk. Yeah. It's a big one too. That's a really big bank. We'll have to keep an eye on and see if anything comes of that. Now, it's really sad when you don't see any indication of renovation. Next step could be demolition. There's a sign for Meridian Hill, Malcolm X Park. And when we began our walk today, I was talking about the amazing news that the fountains at Meridian Hill Park will be restored. Now, when I say fountains, I mean massive fountains. Think like Longwood Gardens, okay? These aren't little fountains. These are cascading, huge pools and fountains that will finally be restored. I've never seen them with water. It's been a really long time since they were operational. So it will be amazing to see them restored and filled and operational. There's a really good view. Oh, sad there's no sun. There's a really good view of like a row of painted ladies, we could call. This is Washington, D.C., Addis. And some more art in the crosswalks here. I'm on 15th Street and U Street. We just walked by the historic U Street corridor, where we find neon signs. This is where you go in Washington for neon. This is where you go for murals. And here's another one of those historic signs that gives you all the information about the area. Now that's kind of a 3D mural of Ruth, of RBG over there. But I'm more interested in the beautiful structure of that building. Look how unique that is with that arched, beautiful arched roof. Next to, oh my gosh, it's formstone. Formstone is fake stone made popular in Baltimore and some in Washington. And the idea of the formstone was to make your brick home look like it was stone. And for some reason, folks thought that was a good idea. I absolutely can't stand formstone. It's like my number one pet peeve about Baltimore architecture. I grew up in a formstone house. I don't know what the appeal was. But I guess, you know, variety. I suppose that's a reason. More painted ladies. As we head toward the busy intersection with New Hampshire Avenue. Kevin, hi! Oh, my weekend has been fantastic. The weather is beautiful. It's still a little chilly, but the weather is fantastic. We've got sunshine. Well, it's cloudy now. We had sunshine and a really great walk today. And cones. It does. So Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington architecture, you know, all quite similar. All cities that really boomed during the 1800s and were built. Washington, Philly, Baltimore, you know, also major ports of immigration, and had industry and had railroads and needed workers and needed to build townhomes really quick and really fast for all the people who worked in those cities. And thankfully did so for the most part in a very interesting architectural way. This is the Balfour, purpose-built either as a hotel or apartment building. We're back on 16th Street, where we started our walk today. Taking a look at another block. This isn't the block we started on. We were 2 blocks south of here. But another block with such a mix of architectural styles. If we were to continue up 16th Street, again, we would hit Meridian Park, Malcolm X Park. We would hit the Embassy of Poland, Lithuania, Cuba, and I believe that is an embassy there. I've walked past this one before, and the flag escapes my memory right this minute. If I can get across safely, we will end our video today because I need to get my breakfast. Yeah, Kevin, I did. I walked from 16th Street, just down the way here, east on T Street, up to the African American Civil War Memorial, and then down historic U Street. And now we're back on 16th Street, a block or 2 up. And this, I can't remember what embassy it is. Where is your sign? Embassy? Oh, heck. I did a short on this video a while ago. I will find it and link it to this video. I'll put a post in the community and tell you which embassy this is. Because what I really like about this building, it is painted black. It has green roof tiles, and it has that gold leaf accent. This is such a unique townhome. I absolutely love it. And it's an embassy. I don't know which one, but it's right next door. Again, another variety of townhomes that appears to be so characteristic of this area. So we've walked block to block where the townhomes and the row homes looked similar. But here, closer to New Hampshire Avenue and DuPont Circle, we get this variety. We get this beautiful variety. Everyone, I'm getting my battery warning on my phone. Everyone, I hope you have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Hey, Mud Butters, nice to see you. Oh, Bohemian Caverns, we passed that, Mud Butters. We passed Bohemian Caverns. That's one that still has a neon sign. The U Street corridor is where you'll find murals and neon here in Washington, D.C. And all of a sudden, there are raindrops. I'm not kidding. We went from beautiful blue skies. Look at these clouds. And it's gotten colder. And it's raining. Perfect time to end the stream. Thank you to everyone. Have a fantastic weekend. Daphne, please post the link to your channel in my chat so that folks can find your channel and tell us what's up with you today. I'll keep streaming from right here for a few minutes so that you can do that. Yeah, we passed Ben's Chili Bowl. We passed the Lincoln Theater, the African American Civil War Museum. Yeah. Mud Butters, there's Ben's is undergoing renovation, so it moved across the street temporarily. And the main Ben's Chili Bowl is behind some fences, having some restoration and renovation done. William, oh, I'm sorry you missed us, William. Hey, go back and watch the stream when I end the stream. Daphne, post your link in the chat if you want to. Everyone, check out Daphne's channel. I wish you a fantastic week ahead, weather permitting. Catch me on my next stream. Don't know what day, whenever we have blue skies. Take care.